Today we're going to talk about something that's, well, it's deeply personal, and it's really important. We're exploring what it's like to support a parent with ALS when you're an adult child. It's a journey that completely reshapes families, and this explainer is really designed to offer some clarity and hopefully some connection. Okay, let's dive in.
In this quote, man, it just hits right at the heart of it, doesn't it? That single moment, that diagnosis, it feels like a seismic event. The ground literally shifts. It's this sudden, unavoidable confrontation with mortality that it changes everything.
So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to walk through this whole journey together. We'll start with that initial shock, then look at how the roles in your family change, touch on those unseen struggles, and then how you can actually find new ways to connect. It's all about validating this incredibly difficult path, and maybe, just maybe, offering a way forward. Okay, before we get any deeper, let's just make sure we're all on the same page about what ALS actually is. It stands for Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, and it's a progressive disease. What that means is it targets the nerve cells that control the muscles we use for, well, everything: walking, talking, even breathing. Understanding this is pretty key to grasping the challenges that lie ahead.
All right, so let's start at the very beginning, the moment of diagnosis. This is where that ground shift happens, and you're suddenly left grappling with this immense, immediate emotional fallout.
And wake-up call, yeah, that's the perfect way to put it. I mean, even if your parent was older and you knew there were health concerns, an ALS diagnosis makes their fragility completely, totally undeniable. It just instantly changes a dynamic you've known your entire life.
The wave of emotions that hits you it's just so complex, right? You might feel all of these things at once. There's that disbelief, that little voice hoping it's a mistake. There's this urgent need to do something, to fix it. And then comes that deep frustration when you realize there isn't a cure. On top of it all is anticipatory grief, that strange feeling of mourning losses that haven't even happened yet.
So where do you even start? How do you begin to process something this huge? Well, the key is finding outlets. Talking openly with your parent, if you can, is huge. But it's just as important to have your own private space, a journal, a trusted friend, somewhere you can unload without feeling like you're burdening them. And honestly, don't underestimate professional support. Therapy can be an incredible space to navigate it all. And that leads us into one of the biggest, most fundamental shifts of all, the role reversal. You go from being the child to becoming the caregiver, and that shift can be really, really disorienting.
Take a look at this. It really lays out the change so clearly. The person who was your rock now needs you to be theirs. The advisor you always went to for help now depends on you to coordinate their medical care. The person who comforted you now looks to you for emotional strength. It's a complete flip of the roles you've known forever.
And with this new role, wow, comes this incredible weight. And it's not just the physical stuff like helping with meals or getting around. It's the mental load. Juggling doctor's appointments, trying to balance your own job and your own relationships, all while you're quietly grieving the relationship you used to have.
So, managing all this, it's absolutely crucial for your survival. Using tools like grab bars can make a huge difference physically. And listen, setting boundaries, that is not selfish. It is absolutely essential to protect your own energy. But maybe the most important thing is to carve out time to just be their kid again. Share stories, watch a movie. Preserve that bond that goes beyond caregiving.
Which brings us to something that often gets overlooked, this unseen weight. We're talking about the emotional isolation, the mental health struggles that just come with the territory. And let me just ask you this, and be honest with yourself. Do you ever feel guilty for just wishing things were normal again? For wishing you could just go back? It's an incredibly common feeling, but man, it is rarely said out loud. If you feel that way, you are not alone. This inner battle, it can feel relentless. You feel isolated because your friends, they mean well, but they just don't get it. That anticipatory grief is like a constant shadow. All of this puts you at a higher risk for depression and anxiety, and it's often fueled by this intense guilt you feel for those moments when you're just frustrated or completely exhausted.
So you have to make your own mental health a priority. It's not optional. Finding a community of people who get it, even if it's an online forum, can be a total lifeline. Simple things like mindfulness or meditation can help take the edge off the anxiety. And it is so important to reclaim a little piece of your life, a hobby that's just yours. But the biggest step? Just acknowledging that it's okay to not be okay.
Okay, so we've talked about the emotional side. Let's switch gears and talk about the practical hurdles, because that emotional weight is paired with some very real-world challenges around money,
your own physical health, and just navigating social stuff.
In this chart here, it really breaks it down for us. You can see right away the biggest chunk of that stress, it's money, 40%. Right behind that are the physical demands of caregiving. And then there's this other significant piece, the stress of dealing with a world that doesn't always understand, which can create a real social stigma.
Yeah, tackling the finances can feel like trying to climb a mountain. The trick is to start early. Figure out the big-ticket items you'll need, like home modifications. Research every single government program or benefit out there. And, if you have siblings, have those tough, open conversations about sharing the costs. It's about getting some control back.
And please, 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 do not forget about your own physical health. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Simple things, stretching, using tools like patient lifts to save your back, even just jotting down in a journal when you feel burned out. They aren't luxuries, they're necessities. Remember, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Okay, we've talked about a lot of the heavy stuff, the challenges. But now, let's focus on what's at the heart of all this: connection. This is about how your bond with your parent doesn't just end. It changes, it redefines itself, and sometimes it can find a whole new depth.
And this right here, this is such an important thing to remember. You might not be able to go on walks like you used to, or share a meal in the same way, but that doesn't mean the connection is gone. Sometimes, when you strip away those old activities, you open the door to a kind of emotional closeness that's even more profound. So, what does that actually look like? How do you build this new kind of closeness? Well, it's often in the smallest things. Holding a hand, putting on their favorite music and just listening together. Finding moments of humor, even when things are tough. It's about adapting, using technology to communicate, and having those hard but really important conversations about their wishes. That's where the new intimacy is built. And I think this perspective is it's the perfect way to think about it. This journey isn't about beating or conquering a disease. It's about adapting to a new reality. And somewhere in that process of adapting, you might just find a strength in yourself and a closeness with your parent that you truly never expected. So I'll leave you with this one final thought to carry with you. It's a real balancing act. In the midst of all the challenges and all the planning for what's to come, how can you honor the incredible person your parent has always been, while also cherishing the moments you still have together, right now, today? I think it's in finding that balance that you find your way through this with love and with resilience.